Oh, hello. Hi. I'm Arup. I'm on this wonderful platform called TechWeb TV. This is thanks to Oman who reached out to me. I was looking for something where I could share my deep knowledge in design thinking. Well, who am I? I am a design thinking evangelist. I've been doing this for the last 12 or 13 years. I have a PhD from the University of South Australia, and I discovered design thinking entirely by chance. Long story short is that I was mentored by none other than Dr. Srikant Datar, who, as you know, is the current Dean of Harvard. So, what is design thinking all about? Design thinking is nothing but creative problem solving, but it looks at things like empathy, which is the main thing. It looks at a different mindset, and this is what I'm going to tell you in the few episodes that can follow. So, see you at the episode level, and I look forward to all your questions. Hopefully, I should be able to answer some. Hello, welcome to session 2 of the module of 5 sessions on Hidden in Plain Sight Mindsets that Drive Design Thinking. To recollect, last time we looked at 3 mindsets: context, ask the right question, and empathy. Today, this session, we will explore further what is context all about. Why do we need context? And why do we need to do a process of discovery? If you remember, what we did was the bus to be able to understand more about what the answer was, we needed to do some research. And you needed to understand the context within which that question which I asked arose. The context was India, buses drive on the left side, you were at a bus stop, and therefore you were expected to see the door. Why do we do that? Because in a business, in a situation, you need to understand where you are. And who are your competitors? What is the environment? What is working? What is not? Impact of pandemic, for instance. And one good framework for looking at it is the Porter's 5 forces. More about that later. To be able to actually do the research, you need to do a little more than get anecdotal tidbits from around the market and where you are, reading business papers. You need to actually do some real quality research. And quality research means you need to actually look at some research portals. That's the way I would do it. And some of the research portals are eBisco, Host, ProQuest, JSTOR. But these are expensive portals which are not always available to everybody. Google Scholar is free to use, but sometimes you need to dive deeper. We as businesses, we are a little sort of divorced from academics and therefore are very reluctant to go there. But trust me, I've been able to bridge or stand or actually maneuver this divide, and I have, having had access to these portals, I've come up with a rich amount of knowledge. One way of doing it is if you sign up for the British Council Library, they'll give you access to ProQuest and JSTOR, which is academic's dream or anybody's dream. No, I am not selling British Council to you, but it's worth a try. Let's look at Porter's 5 forces. Now, Porter's 5 forces is basically a template, an age-old template by Michael Porter, which is still current, which basically tells you you are in the center where you are among competitors, but competitors are not all. You are being influenced north, south, east, and west by buyers, sellers, and whether they're new entrants and also threat of substitute. Let's take a look at Uber to see if we can put it in context. If you are in Uber and you had a challenge, the first thing you need to know is find out where do you start, where you are today. And Porter's five forces will tell you that. All right, we are looking at the bargaining power of the buyers, very high because he's got a lot of options. Okay, bargaining power of the suppliers. Who are the suppliers? It's basically Uber depends on supply of cars and drivers. It is medium because it works both ways. Um, and they themselves depend on Uber for their well-being. The threat of new entrants, very, very high because this is a very established model and it's easy to tweak this model. There are alternative methods, for instance, Rapido for motorcycles will be useful for a congested city like Bangalore, even Mumbai, some of the person in Mumbai, where it's easier to navigate the traffic. Therefore high. Threat of substitutes, medium, already exists, metro, monorail, state transport, local trains. Competition, very, very high. Apparently the business is about 30 billion today and is slated to go to 60 billion in 2024. And Ola apparently has 70% share. Now that you as Uber know where you are, you now need to disseminate the challenge into its components. As for any other company, you would first do your research, find where you stand today given the research that you have and these 5 influencing factors, and then and only then proceed to sit and disseminate the 4 components of the challenge. For that, we look at my proprietary template, which is the challenge compass, which basically states that if you keep the time value out, any challenge can be plotted as 4 points of the compass. North and south is human and technical. Technical means everything which is nothing to do with human, which is basically software, hardware, you name it. Internal is internal to the office, internal to the department, internal to your family, depends on the challenge and the context. External is everything, competition, government rules, regulation, pandemic, world war, whatever. All these are very, very big influences. And the way to plot it is, let's say, look at the red star. The red star is, I think that if I'm Uber and I have a challenge, that the challenge, if I were to plot it in the human and internal sort of arms, it's very much towards the internal challenge, is more internal with about halfway among the human side. So it is at best a guess, but it's a good start. Similarly, we plot the yellow star, the blue star, and the green star. And if we move that constellation to the right, that is your sandbox. Look, the way we are looking at is thinking inside the box. Sometime later, I'll tell you why thinking outside the box is a huge fallacy, which has been touted by all the consultants who've made lots of money and a lot of books have written. At the end of the day, your resources, which are the 4 stars which you have, is all you have to be able to find a desired solution. We will stop here. More about this later. We'll go more into how then the next step is, having deconstructed the challenge, how to reframe and put it back together to a sort of, to a sort of solvable problem. What we are going to do is not finding a solution to the problem. We will be looking at a problem which you can solve. Bye for now. Enjoyed speaking with you. Enjoyed making this presentation. Look forward to hearing from you in the next session. Bye.